me, Sean Capri, and welcome to We the GamerCast. It publishes every single Monday right here at youtube.com/carpoolgaming and on podcast services, pretty much wherever you get podcast services. Thank you guys so much for being here, for telling your mom, for telling your dad, for telling your friends, for telling your friend's uncle, which, why are you hanging out with your friend's uncle? What kind of situation brought you to that kind of weird place? My goodness gracious, you guys, we made it another week. I'm so glad that you're here. Today is a little bit different. Today, if you've been listening for a little while, you know the type of like sweet hangs we have. We have some real talk. We're going to talk about something very pointed. We're going to get to a point. Okay. But, in case you're new, I'm getting ahead of myself. If you're new, here's the deal. Every single week, I have sweet hangs with strangers from the internet. And if you want to be on the show, just tweet at me at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. I want to get to it. I'm so excited. Navarro is my guest this week. He is the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team that I'm on, that I want you to be on as well. And today we're going to talk, amongst other things, we're going to kind of like warm up to it a little bit, I think. But, I want to talk about Extra Life in Rome, New York, because I'm going to be there and many other people are going to be there. Sometimes I feel bad about like saying that this other person's going to be there because like, who knows what can happen? But many people have told me that they're joining us. They signed up at extra-life.org/team/ anyway, the links are in the show notes, whatever the damn links are at. We are doing a deep dive so that you guys can like picture it, so that you can touch it in your hands audibly, I guess. And I'm very excited to have you listen to this conversation that I've had with Navarro. He has philanthropy for Lee. It's at the heart of it. It's at his core. He is so selfless. He lives in service of others, and I am totally inspired by it. And I feel like with our forces combined, among so many other people that help him, the Extra Life event in Rome is like nothing else. And we're gonna lay it on heavy. Just as a forewarning, we are gonna try to convince you to join us for Extra Life. It's gonna be incredible. And, I cannot wait to tell you guys more about that. I've got a couple things that I want to let you guys know, especially all the stuff happening over on Patreon. Once upon a time, the Patreon was like, you would get the Pants Patreon podcast for Patrons podcast like every single week. And that was great. But now there's so much content. I think we might do more on Patreon at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. And in the exclusive tier, then I think we do even just with our other podcast. Cause it just got to be the point where we couldn't start another anchor feed. You know what I'm saying? Like we're maxed out. So lots of stuff going on over there. Ryan Turford and I just did a Scott Pilgrim, the movie. We did a spoiler cast on that. It's under the Geek Outs. You guys should definitely go check that out. If you like spoiler cast and if you like Scott Pilgrim, well, guess what? They're put together. That's kind of how that thing works. And while I'm talking about Patreon, why don't I go ahead and thank the dang near 80, wait a second, not 80, 90 patrons at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, especially our ultimate producers, Robby Bobby Miller, Tony Baker from Quest for Pixels at youtube.com/Quest for Pixels, Dallas Ford from the Blame Game. We'll got that link for the show notes, in the show notes. Emily O'Kelly, Trucker Sloth, Johnathan Brown, you lovely son of a gun. Download his new album, In My Element, on Spotify and Apple Music. It's probably like everywhere else too. I always just say those two things. Navarro, who's my guest today. Please guys, support these ultimate producers. They are crushing it for us. Platinum producers, Brendan Myers, Marcus McCracken, Becky Rubin, Navarro, RJ Kern, and Skinny Matt. And our gold members, Anna, Argo, Cecily Carrozza, Dallas Robbins, Drellish, Foolish Fuji, Jose Jimenez, Marcus O'Neill, Nagachaka, the Snack Network, and Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots. You guys keeping the boat afloat, and we're motoring right along. Like, on the boat? I always think when I think boat afloat, I think of a sailboat, but if we're motoring along, then it's gotta, what am I even talking about? You guys, I did a long run yesterday. I went to the gym. I was feeling crappy about it. I talked a lot about this on the Pants Patreon podcast. So if you want to kind of get into my head about that, I mean, if that's appealing to you, you can go right into my head. Basically, the Pants Patreon podcast for Patrons podcast is like your own audible adventure, like Psychonauts adventure. If you want to be a Psychonaut, jump into the back of my skull, jump around, kind of like see what's going on there. Could be terrifying, could be fun. We've had some pretty good reviews of it, to be honest. And it's basically 40 minutes of this, just me kind of blurting things out to you, what's on my mind. I answer whatever questions, including what bread goes best with peanut butter and jam sandwiches. So you get some pretty deep stuff, obviously, over there. I got to tell you guys too, my kids have taken a liking to me playing guitar for them, like in front of them. And I'm not a great guitar player, like by any stretch of the imagination. I haven't really even set out to learn anything new in probably 15 years or something like that. But lately, it's sparked. It's back, and I am loving it. I thought I was just taking out my guitar and my amp for a little like weekend thing, and it's still here. It's still ready. And my kids come down. They actually like taking the guitar out. There's like little clamps on it, so they like flipping those things up, and they get excited about it. And today I was playing a little bit of guitar, learning that Wet Sand by Red Hot Chili Peppers, which if you've listened to Sweet Hangs, which is our 2, 3, sometimes 4-hour exclusive podcast here at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, Donnie Reese and I are having a bit of we're just geeking out about the Red Hot Chili Peppers a little bit. And I want to learn this song, and I haven't played my electric guitar in forever. And for whatever reason, I made a couple tweaks to it. I don't remember if I talked about this last week, but I made a couple tweaks to it. I lifted the strings up a little bit, and it sounds like, to me, it sounds wonderful. I thought I was going to be searching for another guitar, but all I needed to do was just like lift those strings up, and everything feels nice. It's clean, which, I mean, that just makes me very, very happy. So I'm kind of enjoying it. So Lincoln was here, and Ellie was here as well, but Lincoln was here, and he saw me learning how to play a song. They really like the song Burn It Down by Linkin Park, which I think is amazing that they call that song out. And there's this little kind of like intro melody kind of thing that happens, and I wanted to learn how to play it. And so I brought up a tab, and Lincoln was like, "What are you looking at? Like, why don't you just like play the song?" He doesn't understand that there's practice involved. There's lessons. There's things that you gotta do to internalize this thing so you can just play it from memory. So I showed him a tab probably for the first time and kind of explained, okay, well, these are the dots on my guitar on the neck. Like this is 3, 5, 7. That's all good. So that makes sense. And then I showed him the numbers on the tab, and he's like, oh, it's done. You could see it kind of click in his head. So I actually asked him to read the numbers in order, like tell me which ones are coming up next. And so he really, like he helped me learn the song, but he feels like he got to learn what a tab is. He got to tell me what the numbers were coming next, and it was amazing. It was a super fun little moment, and that's what we're here for, man. We're here for these little moments, and I'm so glad you guys are here along this ride here on We the GamerCast. There's so much to talk to you guys about. My training for my Half-Life, good God. I would love to train for Half-Life. That would be awesome. My half marathon, which is probably taking half of my life off me anyways. My half marathon training continues. I am raising money in support of suicide prevention in memory of my friend Justin Ching, who passed away about 8 years ago from suicide. I've never missed this event. I always do it. I've only done a half marathon once before, but I think I was about 25 pounds lighter back then. So I'm training. I'm freaking out about it, but everything is going pretty well. I'm actually feeling okay about it today. My legs feel like I ran 13K yesterday. That's for sure. But I'm feeling more and more confident as time goes on. People are donating, and that's all that matters. So we are staying focused, and I'm excited about that. I think that's going to be it. I think I'll probably see you guys on the other end of this show, because I want to get into my conversation with Lee Navarro, again, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. I am on the team. One of the things that I love about this, and I'm not sure if it's confusing or not, but it's the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. It's not the Carpool Gaming Extra Life team. It's not anything else. It's like, this is Lee's team. And he has led countless people, dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands, if not billions of people from across the planet, and inspired people to be part of this cause, raising money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals across North America, which I love and I adore. And Lee he does it. Like, I'm going to say, Lee does it better than anybody else. There's nobody who does Extra Life like Lee. This is the best. This is it. And you guys are invited. That is the coolest thing about it. I have been in Rome, New York twice, once in 2019, once last year in 2021. And these are memories I'll have for the rest of my life. Rome is totally accessible, by the way. Even if you can't fly directly into Syracuse or Albany or anything like that, flying to New York City. Join me. I'll be in New York City on the 4th. On the 4th? Yes, on the Friday. I'm taking a train. I get into all this. The details are just details. We can figure the logistics out. It's possible. And I want you guys there. We'll play video games together. We will raise money for the kids. We'll create memories, and we'll even high five. High fives, free high fives for everybody. That is what is guaranteed. But yes, we're going to hone in on this for you guys. Want to make it tangible. Want you to feel like it's possible, because you can totally do it. I'm telling you, I come from Canada. I crossed the border. I did 2 COVID tests last year. I'm there, and it's totally worth it. Whatever inconvenience that you have to overcome, it's worth it. At the end, it is just, you'll always remember it. So if you've been thinking about it, hopefully this kind of tilts you over. We're in the Discord. Lee Navarro, maybe better known as Nissiar in the Discord, which is raisin backwards for those of you who haven't noticed that. Tag me, tag Lee, all the links for everything you could possibly want to know or sign up or whatever are in the show notes. And that's it. Why don't I just go ahead? We'll tell you more about this with Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. Bah. I did mine while Chelsea was away, although I feel like, I don't know, she's just little. Like she doesn't like her. She's got little T-Rex arms. She wouldn't be able to. She wouldn't be able to reach. It's too much.
I tease Becky about doing the same way. How she has T-Rex arms. If you remember in 2019, you remember the case that I had for Extra Life, that big tall case.
Yeah. So
that was on where my desk is. It was on the right side, but it was behind the desk, so we had to kind of lift it up. So the time where I was transferring all my my parts out of it and into this new case, I said to Becky, "Hey, I need you to help me pick this up." And she goes, "Me? You want me to do that?" And I said, "Yeah, you'll be fine. Trust me. I'm just gonna lift it up, and then you're gonna I'm gonna swing it, and you're gonna catch it." And she goes, "Okay." And because I have a Ring camera in our basement, so that captured that moment, and I swear her face was hysterical with her reaction to that. She, big bug-eyed, just staring at me like, "You're kidding me, right? You really want me to catch it?" Yeah. So that was, yeah.
Who else is supposed to help us with these things, Lee?
I know. That's what our beautiful wives are for, is to help us with our stupidity.
Well, until our kids get a little bit older. Well, I mean, a little stronger, a little taller, a little more capable on that front.
I do. My daughter does help me with like a lot of different chores and projects around the house. So my 8-year-old, so she's my mini me. She really is my mini me. She does, she helps me out with literally everything. So, not gonna lie, I do have a little helper that way.
That's just it. This is why we have them.
Exactly. Either that, or I tell her, "Hey, go get me iced tea."
Dude, when I mean, it's different. Like, my kids are a little, well, now Lincoln's 5, which is crazy to think about. But like, there was a time when I didn't feel quite as bad to like ask him to go like get me a drink. He really liked it. Like he thought that was like the coolest thing, that he could go find something. Like, he started to understand that. So that was a short-lived little thing. But yeah, now it's like, now I feel like it, taking advantage of.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Actually,
you know what? Sometimes what we do, sometimes what I do is I'm sitting in my basement and then I say, "Alexa, make an announcement." And
oh my gosh,
I announce it to the house. First kid to get me a drink gets something special.
That's amazing. Yeah, you have like your own like PA system. It's like you're a principal at your own school. That's awesome. Well, and yeah, I should take it back maybe a little bit, because I actually messaged Chelsea a little bit earlier today saying, "Can you send Lincoln down to come grab this piece of paper that I had printed out for her for Amazon return?" Yeah. So like maybe it's not too far off, really.
It's not too far fetched. It happens. It happens. I guess, I don't feel so horrible, only because like I'll do stuff for them.
Oh, you definitely do. Yeah. There's no comparison.
Yeah.
Oh man. Are you able to play any, you got, I don't know. First of all, actually, before I ask you that, like when you power up all your PCs there, like does the rest of the neighborhood like dim at all? You like draw power away from your neighbors?
Thankfully not. Not with all this glorious gaming, whatever you want to call it. No, it doesn't draw that much power. And I've actually, the sad part is I had to have it turned off like the past week.
Yeah.
So that kind of, because of how warm it's been.
Oh snap, no kidding.
Oh yeah. Our basement has been extremely hot.
It's supposed to be cool in the basement. That's why you have a basement. That's where the coolness is. Yeah, you got to escape at the very least.
Yeah. It's been very humid, especially. So, I poor Becky, she's had to like be down here because this is where she works. Work from home. So I remember one morning she sent me a text. "Can you turn your computers off?"
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and she's smart enough to know that that's where the heat is actually coming from.
Exactly.
Or at least potentially. Well,
and you can feel it. You can absolutely feel it.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know.
You get downstairs to where my chair is. You come around, you can feel the heat just all over. So I got her own tower fan, and because she was borrowing the tower fan that we had in our bedroom, like bringing it up and down, up and down. And I was like, you shouldn't be lugging that up and down. That's just too much. Let's just buy you a fan for your side of the office.
Yes, because you always have a solution for that.
Yeah, it's hard to put an air conditioner in the basement too, with the way that ours is set up. So hopefully, when because we're looking to buy a new house actually at some point next year.
Are you really?
Yeah. It's one of our goals for next year is to buy a new house, and we're actually looking in an area outside of Rome. Closer to, don't worry, it won't affect anything.
I'm not worried. I'm just amazed. It's just it's interesting, like for me, like individually, just because like I've been there. So it's weird. Like I know the house you're talking about. Like a lot of people would tell me that, and like, oh, okay, like you're moving. Like that's there's a lot to do with the move, but like I've slept in that house a couple times actually. Like that's wow.
Yeah, it's just we need a bigger space. For ourselves, and we want to look at a 4-bedroom type of home where we can have like a separate office for her, and then potentially a office space for myself on my own type of scenario. And like I said, it's also looking at other school districts for the kids. Adult stuff, adulting stuff.
No kidding. But it's funny. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, in the overall, it's just a matter of, I guess, wanting to just have a bigger space. So that's definitely a target of ours next year. So we'll see.
You do these things. If you set your mind, like if you say it like that, I feel like that's happening. Like
it at this point, it's pretty much going to happen. It's just a matter of setting ourselves up financially for it, because we will be spending quite a bit more into mortgage, but at the same time too, it's finding the right home that we will feel comfortable with. This home that we have right now, it was a great starter home. We love this house, but we're kind of outgrowing it a little bit.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, even just Extra Life itself, like let's be honest. Plus, do you often host? Because like at Extra Life last year, like your house was packed. Like there was so many people over, and you fed us all very well, and it was great times. Is that like a common thing for you? Do you have the neighbors over and everything?
We have, all of our friends. Basically for the summer, we have the kids' birthday parties because my two kids, they're both June babies. Becky has her birthday in June. So
oh wow,
that's when so that's when we do like a lot of barbecues. My mother-in-law actually last year was her 70th birthday, so she asked us if she could host, if we could do her birthday party here at our house, and I said absolutely. I will break out the full-on barbecue grill master hat and everything like that.
Any excuse, once you have it, you have to find an excuse to use it. Otherwise, what you got it for?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Everything in your house, really.
I spent a butt ton of money on our smoker, on our pellet smoker. So I said, no, bring it all on. I said, I will load it up with briskets. I will load it up with chickens, with ribs, with whatever steak you want. God, you tell me and I'll cook it.
Briskets for breakfast, man. Just like all meals of the day, just all the meat all the time.
That's exactly it. That was exactly it. And I just discovered, well, not discovered, but I've been wanting to try sous vide cooking for the longest time.
I don't think I know what that is.
So basically you are introducing the meat to a water bath, the whatever item, whether it's meat or vegetables, whatever. So we put it in a water bath, and we have this device that keeps the temperature at whatever temperature you want. So last week I did prime rib in a sous vide at 132 degrees for about 7 hours in this water bath. And it came out, wall to wall, just this perfect pink, medium rare piece of meat that was just tender and juicy. And we had, and I said to Becky, normally I'm a control freak. I will admit that. So I have to be able to monitor the temperature, both internally and the ambient temperature, all that stuff. This one, I let it go and said, you know what, you do you, sous vide, you cook it, you do what you got to do, and it came out absolutely perfect. After I pulled it out from the water bath, threw it into the oven to broil it for like 15 minutes just to get the outside all browned up and crisped up. Came out perfect.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
it sounds fancy. Like, and I don't know if it's considered fancy or what even that means. It sounds like a super fancy, uncommon kind of special thing.
Yeah,
but maybe easier. Like, is that actually easier?
I honestly, it was easier in the fact that I did not have to worry about it.
Right. Yeah.
That I just walked away.
It is. Why don't we just all just do it that way?
Like, I walked away from it, and my phone, of course, the immersion circulator device that I got connected to our Wi-Fi.
Obviously.
So I could monitor it on my phone. Yeah. But aside from that, it was just, I just left the thing by itself, and every time I'd walk by, it's just sitting there nice and quiet.
Yeah.
Doing its thing, and then once it alerted me it was done, I walked over, pulled it out, took it out of the vacuum sealed bag, and bam.
That's the future. Done. That's the future. We can talk about all the RGB and all the teraflops and whatnot you've got in your basement. Like, that's the future. Temperature controlled boiling water. What's 132 Fahrenheit? Is that boiling yet? Is that? I don't even know.
I don't think so. Close. I think that's like 212, right?
I don't know.
I think, maybe. I don't know. I don't measure these things anymore.
It feels like the air is boiling probably for you right now, just the way things have been going.
I feel like I should know this, but at the same time, I just don't know.
If only it was like a nice, easy, round number that you could just like have off the top of your head. Say like 100 as an example. Yeah, exactly. That seems like that would be pretty easy to remember.
It should be 100.
0 is freezing. I saw a thing, and I get into this every once in a while when I chat with folks from down south. I saw a thing that Fahrenheit is how people feel, Celsius is how water feels, and Kelvin is how molecules feel. And I'm like, I can be okay with that. I think that can make sense.
I am actually okay with that. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Then of course, like a bunch of people in Europe are like, this still doesn't make any sense. Like, can you, like, if it's hot, 100 feels hot. Like, that seems to make sense to me. It makes
so much sense. I actually, you know what? I will subscribe to that.
Yeah,
I'm down.
It's
with
almost
that.
like a percentage. like if it's 88 like Fahrenheit, but like it's 88 of like maximum heat.
Yeah.
Or even like 105 is like it's beyond maximum heat. Like that seems to make sense to me.
Well, it's funny, like you mentioned it that way, and I'm sitting here thinking, when I measure the temperature of, say, my motherboard or the GPU, I have to have it in Celsius, because that's how my brain interprets it as, oh, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable. But if you convert it to Fahrenheit, it's all right. I mean, that's how I feel.
It's too relatable. That's like you say, like, I can handle it. Like, what's wrong with you? Like,
exactly. You're a bunch of silicon chips.
Except your internal temperature doesn't get that hot. Like, that's just not how. If your internal temperature gets to the heat that these CPUs get to, man, you're in serious trouble.
Oh my goodness!
Your organs are just melting inside of you. That is pretty much, man.
Let's see. Right now, my motherboard is telling me it is 50 degrees Celsius inside.
Yeah,
of
dude, they're not surviving that. I'm sorry to say, that's not good. That's not a good thing.
Dude, that's awfully high for it.
Hey, Lee. Speaking of Rome, New York, I'm not going where you think I'm going.
Okay.
Recently, Rome, New York has been on the top of minds for many, many people across America. I want to ask you about Woodstock '99. And if you were surprised to see this documentary on Netflix show up, and that it was in Rome, it was at the base, the army base there. It seems like all of a sudden it's amazing, because we've been talking about Rome, New York, and the Discord and all of our stuff about Extra Life, and all of a sudden this Woodstock thing shows up, and everybody's like, what happened there? Like, what is an absolute train wreck, as the movie or the docuseries kind of alludes to. But were you there? I don't even know if you were there, like if you were around for it.
1999, I was not in Rome. 1999, I lived in Syracuse.
Okay.
So I was 16 around the time that this whole thing happened. So obviously I had no, but funny enough, because Becky is more from the area than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Her father worked the Woodstock 99 as a vendor, as like a food vendor or something like that.
No way.
So I'm not sure like how much of it he saw, but I'm not sure. So this is on Netflix, right? This documentary, it's on Netflix. So there was one too on HBO that was done, I want to say last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was one on HBO as well. And then that one, the way that they portrayed it was that it was very bonkers and chaotic, especially on that last day when there was just that riot and everything just was nuts.
Same with the Netflix one. So it seems like maybe that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So I don't know if I gotta see the Netflix one, and maybe the Netflix one, maybe the rights transferred from HBO to Netflix. Maybe I'm thinking about the same thing here.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I don't know how many people would do a Woodstock documentary, between two different.
Good point. Yeah, I don't know if it's so funny. Chelsea had watched it first, and then she's like, "You got to watch this thing. Like, I don't want to spoil it for you." And I love it too, because we used to go to music festivals, but like they weren't anywhere. Obviously, like nothing even close to that. There was, who knows, maybe 25,000 people, something like that. I have no idea. But when you're in the middle of it, it almost doesn't even matter. Like you don't need to like zoom out from a helicopter to see it filling up a field. Like if you're in the middle of a mosh pit of some sort, like you're kind of, it's pretty intense. And when you're under whatever 35 degree, whatever that is, 105 degree sun, like
especially
hot,
that time of the year. Exactly. Mm-hmm. It was very hot that time of the year. So I just looked it up. So the Woodstock 99 on HBO is different from the Netflix one. So this is interesting that there's two separate documentaries regarding something so ridiculous.
What a time. It's crazy to think that 1999 was 20. I mean, it was 22, 23 years ago at this point. Last Woodstock, probably the last one there will ever be.
Well, they tried to resurrect Woodstock a couple of years back, actually. I think it was at the 20-year anniversary of Woodstock 99 or Woodstock 96.
Was it? I don't think I realized that.
There was an attempt to resurrect it, and it was actually the first location that they tried to get it is here in Rome. And then there was another location where it was closer to like the original Woodstock from 1960, whatever.
Woodstock 50. You're right. It would have been 2019.
Yes.
In Colombia?
In Maryland. Yeah, they ended up going to Maryland, I think.
Wow. In Columbia, Maryland. Yeah.
Yep.
The event that makes more sense than Columbia, the country. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And like 3 days of peace, love, and music. The Killers, Miley Cyrus, just off the top kind of row here. Santana, the Lumineers, the Raconteurs, etc. Definitely not Limp Bizkit, Korn, the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No.
That kind of thing.
But I don't think they ever got it off the ground. I think they ended up canceling it. Yeah,
it says it was a planned American Music Festival originally scheduled to be held August 16th to 18th, 2019. It was intended as a commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Woodstock Music and Art Fair from 1969. Interesting. It was canceled on July 31st, so just a couple weeks before.
Mm-hmm.
After a series of permanent and production issues, venue relocations, and artist cancellations. Like Woodstock is done, dude.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see
never
it ever.
Coming back. I mean,
no.
Never say never. Never's a long time, but
there's been a lot of those recently, though.
Yeah,
there's that fire festival down in like the Bahamas. That was a hot trash.
I know, but that one they were actually trapped on the island. Like they were kind of. This is funny because Chelsea had the same thought as me watching this documentary. Like we're on day 3, people just started to leave, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you could just go home." Like you were like trapped there. Like it's not like you couldn't just like get in your car and go get some water or something like that, or go get supplies or whatever. People were just too wasted to do it, I think.
Yeah.
So they just didn't realize it, but yeah.
But that fire festival thing, like afterwards, it was just, man, bad overall for everybody.
What is that like to have kind of like a spotlight on? I mean, not that it's a current spotlight or anything, but you know, it's where you live. It happened there.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's just part of history. You know, I don't see it necessarily as, oh, this is going to put a scar in Rome. I mean, it happened. You know, a lot of bad things happened during that whole event. A lot of fun things happened during that event too. So in the overall, you know, it kind of put the onus on, I guess, the organizers and the local government to kind of reevaluate, okay, what do we need to do to make sure this type of thing doesn't happen? Mm-hmm. Which, funny enough, it was something that Becky and I were discussing yesterday, since we were talking about, you know, we're talking about like Extra Life, and we're saying, you know, we could learn a lot from this. I said, I highly doubt we're going to have like this amount of ridiculousness happen at our event, but there is a way for us to, I guess, learn from it and apply those lessons for, you know, what to watch out for, what to make sure we prevent from happening.
Yeah, definitely. That was exactly my next thought. I'm like, this is actually, I didn't mean it to be this way, but this kind of segues nicely into Extra Life. But yeah, like there's something about event planning that is very strange, like, because you can have everything on paper basis, like everything's covered, but like everything changes when you throw, I mean, in that space, 60 people into a room, or I mean, in Woodstock, say 250,000 people all there. But yeah, like people are a wild card, man. Like you never know what's going to happen, especially when we're tired.
Yeah. You never know what Bad Bit's going to do.
Oh my, well, I'll probably fall asleep. Like that's, you can count on that. He can have a nap. He doesn't have like the benefit of like the dad power that happens.
It's
like
true.
You never get as a dad, you just don't get these times. So you're just like powered up, dude.
Exactly. You know, it's funny you mentioned that dad power. I said to all week this past week, I've been falling asleep at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, waking up at like 5:30, 6 in the morning.
Yep.
And then come Extra Life all night.
All the way through. Yeah. 30, all the way through. 30, 40 hours. I was talking to, I don't even know if they want people to know that they're coming yet, so I'll keep them anonymous so far. But I was talking to somebody there, and we're kind of like, we're both very just like you, like just want to make sure everything is detailed and there are spreadsheets and all these things. So this person came to me with like, okay, I've got a spreadsheet. I'm like, yeah, that's my kind of planning. Yep. And I was kind of reviewing in my mind how it went last year, and all said and done, you were probably even up even more than me, but I feel like at a certain point in time, I was up for nearly 40 hours straight.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, leading up to last year. And so I thought we were going to be, you know, we just get everything done. We go into that facility, into that building, set everything up. We'll be good. Lo and behold, that Thursday night, we get a message saying, guys, the Blackstone grill that we were supposed to be able to borrow, we can't borrow it, because if we take it out of its location, then something could happen to the loaner's insurance. And I'm going, well, what do we do?
Yeah.
So that Thursday night before everything, before Extra Life, that Thursday evening, we had a quick conference call and everything. And we're going, so what do we do? How are we going to like serve all this food? I mean, we had an idea of like what to serve, what to do. How are we going to cook it? So we said, all right, we're 3 options. Somebody has like one of those smaller grills that's good for like a quick little event for, you know, between like 5 and 10 people or whatever. And we said, okay, that may not work out. Well, Jim and Jen, they have their camper. They can roll the camper into the parking lot. We can cook in the camper. Yeah, but we might need to get like a permit or permission to get that camper into that facility because it's the school's property. And then I said in the meeting, well, I always wanted to buy a Blackstone for me, so I'll just go buy one.
Something like a good crisis to get you your
what I wanted,
what you need. Yeah, exactly what you want.
And then they were like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Let me jump at this. Don't mind me. Don't worry about me, guys. I don't mind the sacrifice.
Well, the best part is I had been up to that point, I had been budgeting for our house to be to have the roof repaired.
Oh wow.
So at that point I said, So I said, hold on, give me a second. And I'm like going through my accounts, going through everything. I said, yeah, I can pull it off. Yeah, I can do it. I can do it. It's like it's like $450, right? So we get to Lowe's, and funny story with this one. I said, I go up to the guy at Lowe's. I said, just a question. Do you guys price match? Yeah. Okay, well, this grill here is at Walmart for $200. And he's like, no way, because this is a $400 grill. No way it's $200 at Walmart. I said, well, it's right here. He goes, hold on, let me look. Comparing all the numbers, comparing all the models and everything. His manager comes over and he says to her, we had to price match it. It's the same exact thing. And she goes, really? But it's 50% off what we're marked. Yeah, but we have to price match it.
Yeah, man. Said, yes.
So I got it for half off. However,
I'll take 2.
I wish, right? They had 3 there. I could have taken 1 or 2 more. So the guy, so funny enough, later on, we find out that the Walmart one was actually a refurbished version of it. They didn't print it out.
Really?
Yeah.
What a scammer.
Oh my God.
Unintentional scammer.
Right. It was unintentional. I said, I didn't realize he missed it. So,
well, and they checked. Anyway, no kidding.
Yeah. So we got the grill and everything. So I guess back to the main story there. So from that point on, we had to rush to put the grill together, take all of our equipment over, bring it over, get it all set up. And then we were expecting you that Friday. I ended up getting a call from work saying that there is a work emergency, so I needed to go into work that Friday. One huge cluster after another. So yeah, I barely slept. I got to the next morning before the event started. I had to head over there, get all of my equipment set up, connected and everything. Had a small, tiny what the F moment because when I booted up my PC, my hard drive wasn't being read.
Oh my gosh.
My SSD somehow in the transport, the SSD slightly dislodged. Yeah. So I said, oh Jesus. So that was done and over with. So yeah, and then from then on it was just, you know what? As the day goes on, we just do whatever. Yeah. We just get it going and thankfully, thankfully it went off without pretty much a hitch after that, except for poor Badbit with his PS5. Having to get reset that in the middle of the morning like that, but
that thing is not very portable. We'll just go and say that. Like we took the train up from New York up to Rome, and yeah, that thing is. If you're taking a PS5, which we'll get into some of the more specifics about like what people can bring and should bring and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, I think that was a little troublesome.
Yeah,
for him.
It's a big console.
It's a hefty boy. Yeah,
it's a hefty one. It's a thick one.
Do you find it's easier though as time goes on? Like, is it like at least or less stressful in a way? Like maybe not easier, but like, do you get worked up in the same way? Like, or is it always just you want it to be good for everybody?
I do. I do want it to be good for everybody. That is like my key thing is to make sure everybody's comfortable. Everybody has what they want to do as far as gaming is concerned. Providing everybody with the right type of connection. And making sure that this year we want to make sure that power outages. We only had one last year, so that was a good thing. We want to make sure that this year no power outages because that's because of how many people are saying that they're coming. And to me, I was telling Jim, we got to really prepare this year to make sure the power distribution is really on point.
What do you have to do? So, like, what do you we've talked about this maybe once or twice before, but I don't think that and basically at this level. Now I've seen what happens, at least on your face, when a power outage happens, and it's math. Like you're calculating something and referring, I'm sure, mentally to some sort of blueprint that you've done. But like how, maybe even in layman's terms, like how are you prepping power wise for this?
What we did is we took a diagram of the facility, a layout of where all the outlets are. And we took into consideration where like the outlets that are there all have a number associated with it. So we know that each number is associated with the circuit breaker. So what we do is, what I did is I labeled each one and I said, okay, this is what I know so-and-so is bringing. This is what I know so-and-so has with them. And so what we do is we kind of estimate how much wattage is coming through for that line. when you add up the people that we have scheduled to be on that line for that event. So that's why, prior to Extra Life, I always ask, please let me know what you're bringing. Please let me know if you're bringing a gaming PC, let me know your specs. So that way I can kind of estimate, okay, you're going to draw, 600 watts at max when you're gaming, or you're going to draw this much. When it comes to consoles, that's easy.
Pretty standard.
The consoles are standard.
Yeah.
It's the gaming PCs that worry me. Only because you put the wrong gaming PC in the wrong line, everything's going to get knocked out.
Yeah. And do you find, is that more like the local people like bringing PCs? Like there's not too many people traveling. Yeah.
No, it's more local people that bring it. So that's kind of like the nice thing. And we joke around that I have to have my own circuitry.
You plug into the thing outside.
I plug into the kitchen.
There's a kitchen. Yeah, exactly. Like the ones with appliances. Like, that is hilarious.
All the industrial strength kitchen equipment. Yeah, that's where I plug into.
Yeah,
so,
man.
We have
wild.
to
like to even just have to think about that. That's the thing. Like many of us have done like a LAN party before, I mean, there's not too much. Maybe some of the more intensive LAN parties, somebody's had to figure that out. But on a low scale, like 1 or 2, maybe 3 kind of setups, you're probably more than okay with using whatever the house has to offer.
Right.
But yeah,
exactly.
you really have to. So did this come from like an original time at Extra Life that you didn't plan this out and plot it all out and something terrible happened? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was on a different facility.
Okay.
We were in a different facility that with the hospital that Phoenix Overdrive is officially affiliated with.
Yeah.
And so they offered us a chance to use this the senior living facility that has this wonderful little celebration room type of situation. And so at first, the first couple of years we were there, it was good. It was the power was fine. The internet, however, was the other part that was kind of lacking in that room. So we said, okay, we'll deal with it as it comes along. But there was 1 year that we plugged in, that we were providing breakfast. So we plugged in some type of warmer or something.
Oh, yeah.
And it knocked the power out for this entire section of the room. Gosh. And I said, what just happened? And, Michelle came up to me. I just plugged in the egg warmer. I said, oh, that's not cool. Okay. So we ended up taking the people that were on that line and relocating them into a different room. And that's when kind of the thoughts started churning with us. I think we're outgrowing this room.
Right. Yeah.
I think we may need to look at a different facility, especially because of the lack of internet as well. Internet in that room was like, 1 megabit per second.
Oh, that's not even possible. Yeah.
I said that's not possible anymore for what we're trying to do and how we're trying to grow. So I think we need to consider a different facility. And that's where I started looking around, and that's where we came around to looking at the college near us. And I said, this is going to be perfect. It's 5 minutes down the road from us. It was just a perfect situation, and we absolutely fell in love with that facility. Ironically enough, the room that we normally go into, that wasn't the one we're looking at. There was a smaller room that could hold like maybe 30 people. But thank God we went with that bigger room for 2019, because I didn't anticipate that type of turnout that year. But it was just perfect.
And what are you thinking for 2022? Because last year, I think we had a lot of interest, but we were still in COVID. We were still in lockdown, absolutely. And travel was difficult, and crossing the border was risky, at least for some of us. I didn't get my test results from my COVID, COVID test. Dude, I had to call. I almost didn't even get them. I was getting on the train back to New York City, leaving Rome. And it was like, that whole thing it probably should have stressed me out more than it actually did. But I think I was pretty scatterbrained, honestly, to the point where I left a bunch of stuff at your house by accident. It was that was a bit of a mess.
You're kind of just going with it, right? At that point, it was just kind of like, just, it is what it is.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I think for me, as far as our expectations for this year, it's definitely a lot more people. Yeah. Way more people this year, only for the fact that, interest has increased. And I think that's the momentum that we had from 2019 to 2020.
Yes.
We had that momentum, right? And we were able to say, hey, we've got this amazing event to help sick kids. It's a ton of fun. Come join it. And we were there from 2019 to 2020. Then
2021, we didn't do 2020. There wasn't anything in 2020.
2020 was a virtual thing. So that's why that's where we canceled the in-person. Now 2020 to 2021, it was a little bit delayed on our part to say, okay, are we going to do this or not? Because we still weren't sure what was going on with COVID. And by that time, we were also being told, okay, you know, the college was saying you need to have proof of vaccination, you need to have masking, this, that, and the other. And we're saying, can we still pull this off? Can we do this? And that's when we decided as a group, yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. We need to do this. We need to get back to some semblance of normalcy, even though, you know, we still have other issues at play, like the masking and vaccination status, all that stuff. Let's just do it. Let's just make it happen.
And from my standpoint too, like one of the big reasons I wanted to make sure that I was there, it was possible. So, and it's a little work makes it somewhat at least doable from my standpoint. So that's good. But I mean, obviously thinking in the immediacy of doing a good job in 2021 and trying to raise all that money. But part of my mind was also in 2022. And I'm sure yours was as well. Like, if we can at least get something in 2021 where there's at least some of us, and I feel like there was more than just a few of us there. There was definitely like a good turnout in 2021. Yeah. But it was there to show anybody who like was watching us be there, like to start planting the seeds in their brain for 2022 as early as November of last year. So you can, we've got that very recent example. Like, this is a fun thing. It's pretty unique. Like, there's really nothing like this. I just don't know, aside from people going to like a PAX or anything, like there's no get together centered around video games quite like this, and it's totally doable. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And you nailed it right there. Is we're using 2021 as a stepping stone for 2022, and trying to reassert this event's capabilities and bringing people together for a good cause. Yes. So, you know, as you said last year, during that one of the interviews that you did, you know, for TV down here,
it's on the news.
We still have that.
That's so funny, dude.
It was so fun. It's so funny to watch, and just such a treat for us to really have that be connected to this event. And it's the one thing that's really stuck in my head is that you mentioned it's lighting the spirit, of philanthropy in people.
Big time.
And that's what it is that's, you know, we can do good things. We can do all these good things, but let's do it in a fun way. Yeah. Let's do it in a way that makes other people go, oh, that seems like a ton of fun. It gives you a chance to meet new people. Yeah. You know, there are so many wonderful people all around, you know, our little corner of the internet, and I'd love to meet every single one of them, because I feel like every one of them has something to contribute to my, I guess, overall being. Yeah. In that I love, you know, take you for example, you know, you just inspire, and you have a way of just making people want to just get the job done and do it in such a fun way.
Well, that's why we're a good team. I'm going to shovel off the compliment, but like you are in service of others in a way that I am inspired by. And I think this is where you and I kind of come together on this. Like, the world needs stuff like this. It needs something full of hope, full of inspiration, and it teaches people how to be in service of others as well, to think outside of themselves and for something else. And I feel like, you know, I don't know, maybe it's just because we're coming out of COVID or what, but I feel like it's a bit of a critical time for this, to be honest with you, that people are returning back to thinking about themselves, which is fine. That, you know, we should be thinking about like the homestead and things like that, but we also need to be thinking about people who are in need. And I fear that, you know, we don't have necessarily like the pipeline needed for the future of philanthropy on this sense. Yeah. Like we need to have we need to have community support. And the thing is, we can all order groceries and whatever we need to be delivered right from our house. We don't need to leave our houses, which as gamers sounds like that's exactly what we would want. But it is the power of community. And that's one of the things that I love about Rome, and the fact that you do it in Rome, is you can see where it started. when you arrive, whether you're coming from Canada or from wherever, if you travel into Rome to see this, you see immediately that there's a home group of you guys, and that's where it started. So that's the grassroots kind of community thing that I love, that I just feel like is a required fabric of our society. It's just like we need these things, man. So yeah, I'm enthused to inspire other people, to get other people on board. Like it's this magical mix of like selfishness as well as like being in service of other people. I want to meet all these other, I'm just the same as you. I want to have everybody together. This is one of the best reasons to do it. So yeah, man, I'm stoked that you do it. So nobody else is doing this.
It really highlights, I guess, how we've all grown up with, you know, connecting with each other over the internet and learning about each other, and then being inspired to meet each other. And then on top of that, we're inspiring ourselves to do something good for our local communities, because that's what Extra Life and CMN hospitals are all about, is to do good things for the local community, so kids who are sick get the help that they need.
That's just it, dude.
So, and that's the very basic core of it all is, you know, and for me, selfishly, I want to show my kids that there is something worthwhile in terms of community service. That not you get to help, but there's also this amazing feeling in coming together with a group of people to do so.
Big time.
You know, so
dude, that's top of mind for me as well. That to show the kid, like my like Lincoln now is just starting to like kind of understand like more than just like things that are happening, like the why around it. And like he's at again a bit of a critical age at this point. So I'm excited. I'm going to be doing a couple local runs here as well. So I'm excited that he's going to be able to see me do that in a way of like pushing myself on that front. You push yourself on the other kind of front of like putting an event together. There's just nothing quite like it. And I've always commented on the fact that even though you guys haven't done your podcast in a little while, like you guys do the opposite of what everybody else does. You started a fundraiser, and then how can we make this fundraiser successful? We'll do a podcast. Everybody else, the rest of us are all opposite. We all start podcasts, and then we kind of like throw fuel on the fire at Extra Life. I just love that like this thing started so pure, and I don't know, for all the right reasons, as if that's even really a thing. I love it, man.
You can thank Ray for that idea, because he was the one who came to me and said, "Hey, we need to do a podcast." I said, "Okay,
that's the answer." No, that's
all right.
The best. Hey, I want to jump in with a few questions. I don't normally do this for this show, so it's maybe just a weird way to jump in awkwardly to do it. But the Muffin Mon, Kevin Ainsworth from Save the Game Media, jumped into our Discord and he said, "Hi, Sean and Lee. This will be my first time attending Extra Life with you fine folks." Before I get to his question, dude is amazing. Like there's actually so much trust, I think, in just taking the plunge and going, I'm going to come in. And Kevin's not somebody who's been around since like the early Bobby days or anything crazy like that. Like he's fairly new to the community, relatively.
Exactly.
But has been a wonderful friend, and I love that he's already decided that he's coming. So I'll continue on. He says, "What should I bring? Controllers, consoles, food. I can't wait to meet you both more in person." So what do you think?
Obviously, bring your consoles. We try to make sure we have a television or a monitor for everybody to use. But if you have, knowing where Kevin lives, because I do know where he lives, he's close by. So, I can tell him you can lug around either a monitor or a TV. Bring your consoles, bring your controllers. But as far as, anything else, food, we try to make sure everybody is taken care of. And that was part of our big thing from last year, as I mentioned, with the Blackstone, is we wanted to make sure we had different meals ready at different points in the day. We had our breakfast, our lunch, our early dinner, our late dinner, our midnight dinner. And then we had two types of breakfast. We had like the early breakfast, and then the later breakfast, which was to just give you that last little bit of oomph that you needed to end the whole thing. So feel free to bring whatever you wish to do so. I mean, like I said, we'll be able to provide you with whatever you need. And If there's something that you specifically need, please reach out to us. We are very conscious of people's dietary restrictions. We are aware of people who need gluten-free meals, people who need dairy-free, things like that. So, we'll be reaching out as it gets closer to the event to check in with anybody who registers, and as far as participants are on our on the Extra Life page, on the team page, and we'll reach out that way and get it all figured out for you. So, but honestly, bring whatever you feel you need to bring as far as how to make the day successful for yourself.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting thing too, because like I was going to say that you guys cover like the necessities, but that's like putting it lightly. Like it's more than just the necessities. But there's some of us who, and I think Dave Moore might be one of these people who might be bringing a little extra on that front. Like I think there's
I've spoken with Dave. Yep.
You talked to Dave already?
I talked to Dave already about
Dave's
like what his plans. He's bringing the snacks. I mean, I think Brendan Myers, the Winter Gamer, he's already like claimed his spot next to Dave. So
good.
So I said, I want in on this snack thing. Oh, what can I do to make this happen? Oh, right. I'm the organizer. I can put Dave near me.
Yes. It's a coveted spot. You've got like your own like command center at the front of this thing. And maybe this is okay. Well, actually, I want to stick on Kevin's question here too. So as a participant who's been there a couple of times, I would say, depending on your need or inclination for like the caffeinated beverages, I would say like go treat yourself. Like go to there's a gas station close by. Like go to a convenience store and maybe pick up some special drinks that might make it just that much better for you. But yeah, like if you were to show, we could put it this way, like if you were just to show up with like nothing but a game console, like you'd probably be okay. And you can kind of just elevate it from there. Comfy clothes, probably a good idea. I start the day, or I did at least in 2019 when I was 25 pounds lighter in a Super Mario suit. I think it'll probably just be the jacket unless something crazy happens here. But yeah, eventually comfy clothes. I did get questions about masking this year, Lee, and I don't actually know the answer to that. Like, do you know what the requirements are going to be?
I believe the masking requirement has been dropped.
Oh wow! Okay.
Do not quote me on that. However, I do have to get in touch with our liaison from the college. But based on New York State's rules, as far as masking is concerned, we do not believe that there is any masking requirement.
So we'll all like lick and share Dave's snacks together. Yeah.
Yes.
That's where we're gonna flip right back to just everything gets real nasty. Everybody talks really close. We're gonna cram everybody together.
Yes, we're gonna share a community cup with each other.
That's right. Yeah, well, there'll be a fruit punch bowl where we all just dip the cups in, go for seconds.
No, we just dip our faces in it.
Dip the chips, like whatever you want to. Like people are gross, man. maybe the mask wasn't such a bad idea. Like let's just keep everybody the hell away from each other. It's
my goodness.
Terrible. Some people bring, you know what? I don't know if this gives anything away or ruins anything, but Brendan Myers, I guess it was just last year, brought an inflatable mattress. Yes. One of the most pro moves I think I've ever seen. There's some people who will just like find a spot. Like it's a small college, it's a small school kind of venue. So some people will go find a quiet space in the hallway or something like that, and get a cat nap here and there. But Brendan Myers, like he came for comfort, and I think it's a good and he's somewhat close by. So I think he was within driving distance. Yep. So that was a bit of a pro move. Yeah.
Yeah. There's people like we also had people who had like they brought in like hammocks that they could just set up in the room. Like, I don't know if it was in 2019. There was like a section where somebody just had like a hammock against the wall. And I said, man, that looks comfortable.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like that's the thing about a 24-hour marathon is something that maybe if you were there for a few hours, you might go like, that's a lot. Like that's kind of strange, or maybe you might stand out. You don't want to feel like you're being that person, but like there really isn't anything like that at a 24-hour video game marathon. Like whatever you got to do to get through it, we're all in it together, which is kind of the underlying feeling about it. Is everybody's there just kind of you get the first few hours, everything's exciting. I can't believe we're all here together, and you get to some witching hours where you're like, now we got to push through. We got to get through this thing, man.
I think for us, every single time this happened, the past couple of times, is when the clock hits and daylight savings no longer is in effect, and we go from 2 a.m. back to 1 a.m.
Not fair.
That's when everybody realizes, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Kevin Austin, who I think it was the first 2019. That's when I was really just like, I already respected the dude a lot, but like 2019, he just was dedicated. He was locked in. Him and Josh sitting right next to him, Josh Barboni, sitting right next to him. They're just playing Fortnite nonstop, no problem, wouldn't budge. Like, I feel like they were there as a bit of an escape too from the typical responsibilities of family life.
Yeah.
But there's some people who are there just locked in on the games. Some people who are there to make sure that they can get through it comfortably. I think hydration is a huge piece.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if you recommend anything about chairs or anything like that, and it gets into something else I want to chat about here.
They have the chairs that they provide. If you have a portable chair that you can bring yourself, feel free. There you go. The past couple of years, I always thought I was thinking of bringing my own chair over there because Lord knows how long, we're there. But, I can comfortably say that some of the chairs that they're provided for us, they're not horrible. Just do yourself a favor of getting up, stretching, walking around.
Big time.
And the other thing I think that's really fun about this type of event is that you don't have to sit where you are and think that that's where you're going to be the whole time.
Agreed.
Feel free to mingle, right?
Yeah.
I would come over to where you are, or you would come over to where I am. The one year that was in 2019, James Johnson was there and he was just mingling around. Bad Bit was mingling, and that to me is you're getting to meet different people. You're getting to chit chat with them. And it almost makes those 24, 25 hours seem like they're just gone in an instant.
They really are, dude. Like, it is amazing because other than the witching hours, which definitely happens, that reset on the clock is a bit of a kick to the nuts. But for the most part, like, you kind of go, I want to do this more. I want to keep hanging out with these people. I want to keep playing games. Like, you actually don't really want to shut it all down. So you're right. That speaks to something else I wanted to chat about as far as like the streaming goes. Sometimes people have this sense that they must stream. Every individual must have their own individual stream. And I even personally, like, I kind of need to talk to our people about this. Like, I don't expect that to happen this time, that every person has their own stream to Twitch or YouTube. Like, some more almost like pods can happen. Yeah. That's kind of what, so number one, like, you don't have to, like, if you just want to play by yourself, you can totally do that. Like, the point of Extra Life has, or the image and the public facing part of Extra Life has become streaming, but that's not where it started. Obviously it exists before streaming was a thing. So it's just pushing yourself to play games for a long time.
I remember that was actually like the first time I ever did Extra Life. Ray and I were talking about it, and we were saying, well, what if we like put this out there on the internet somehow, some way?
Yeah.
And that was like our first foray really into Twitch and everything. And I remember we bought a capture card, and I think it was like a AverMedia Live Gamer HD capture
Classic.
card. It was,
man,
just this like red box that you plug it into, and And I said, and of course, the first time we held this was in a hotel conference room where we could barely get into the Wi-Fi. It was like,
that's where San Diego Comic-Con started.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It was like 100 kilobyte per second connection. And I said, I can't, we can't stream, guys. We can't do this. This is just too much. We tried, but like the frames were going like 1 frame per second, and you could barely tell anything was going on in the screen. Everything was so pixelated. Yeah. But, and that's where we kind of started growing and evolving. And that's when, one of the years I said, I could build a PC just meant for streaming, like the event. Yeah. And that's what I have here is now I have this monstrous machine that I have a huge processor, graphic card. I think there's 3-4 capture cards installed on it.
Good God.
Yeah, there's 4 capture cards. One of the capture cards has like 4 HDMI inputs. The other ones, there's 2 others. So it's wild. It's absolutely wild.
So if you even want to get started in streaming and learn a little bit about how it all works, like just come talk to Lee. He'll give you the rundown of this a little bit.
So and it's I mean that's going to be the machine where I'm going to plug in. I have 3 different cameras that I'm going to broadcast, what's going on for us that day, and we're just, it's just one of those things that we want to show off more what we do here in Rome, because I think what we do here is, it's similar to what a lot of other places are doing, but there's something homey about it.
Who's doing this, Lee? Like in 2019, we had 60 people in that space. I don't know, how many do we have? 40, 45 in 2021? How many people? We had less.
Something like that. It was like 40 people.
Yeah. Like, do you know a number? Like, would you guess 60 plus? Like, are we hitting upwards of 70?
I think we're hitting upwards of 70 based on what I've been told about who's coming, who plans to come. There might be others who are still thinking about it, and there might be others who will say, you know what, I want to come to do this after listening to this episode. So,
well, we're getting better, I think, of even just talking about it. I think over the last couple of years, it's like, oh crap, like we should probably say something about this. And by then, we've underestimated how long it takes people to make plans and everything. So hopefully this is a good enough. I mean, it's April. It's August 19th at this point. Now, there's a weird balance that happens where if we did the same conversation in February, it's too early. Like it's too far away. People can't kind of conceptualize. Like now is actually a good time. You can book your flights, you can book your train or whatever you need to do. Personally, Lee, just for, not that you necessarily need to know this, but for anybody who wants to hear this, I will be in New York City the week before, at least for a couple of days. And my plan is to basically the same as last year. I will take an Amtrak train from New York City up to Rome in the afternoon, 1:20 in the afternoon. I was looking at trains actually earlier. So 1:20, I'm going to leave New York City. It's about a 4.5 hour train up to Rome. And so it'll be right there at dinner time, 6 o'clock. I'll arrive in Rome. So I know of at least 1 to maybe 3 other people who will be joining me there. And that number will likely grow. Very likely we'll be at Nintendo New York in the morning. We'll grab some breakfast and hang out and have a quick lunch. And then everybody hops on the train and comes over to you and unloads. So it's a very palatable thing, hopefully, because some folks have been talking to me and realized that flying into Syracuse or what's the other major airport?
Albany.
Yes. I mean, that not all the options for everybody from everywhere around the world. So sometimes it's easier just to fly into New York, and then the train is a $50 train ride. So that's it's super easy, super comfy. There's internet, and I love it. I'm an Amtrak fan, man. I actually quite like it. It's pretty good.
We have a very I don't want to say small, but it's a cute little train station that we have here that I think people. It's a hidden gem of Rome, in my opinion, just because of the location, the general location, which I think is about 5 or 10 minutes from my house. Yeah,
it's perfect.
So we have that, and just so everybody is aware, we are finally getting the information we need as far as hotel booking is concerned. That is finally getting to us. I know people have been asking me about it, and I've been back and forth with trying to just get a hold of the hotel, trying to get this whole thing sorted out. So Monday we should have all the information we need so I can release it to the public, and you guys can start, whoever is planning to utilize the hotel can start making plans and, making reservations as far as the hotel room is concerned. So we're finally getting some traction on that.
Are you just getting like a special price or something like that? Is that the information you're looking for?
Yeah, that's what the special. Hopefully, we get some decent special pricing. I did not. I didn't give them a number as far as how many, but after you release this episode, hopefully people can start kind of, just message me in the Carpool Gaming Discord or on Twitter, anywhere. Find me, and I will be able to help you guys out with getting the information you need for the hotel.
For sure. Links will be in the show notes for all of the contact information. Nisiar, which is raisin backwards, Skinny Mac wonders who the heck would ever do that. I feel like there was Shoot, maybe that was the only question, was just from the Muffin Mon about that. And I know hotels was definitely something that a few people were asking about. Now on the streaming side and the playing game side, like one thing, and I just wanted to put this out there, one thought that Babbitt and I kind of had going back from Rome last year was maybe we would have a couple of like almost like couch co-op kind of situations where a bunch of us could kind of just like plop down on couches together, where last time it was, and especially in 2021, because we had to stay so far apart, it was individual kind of siloed little
you kind of had your little gaming pods.
And I feel like, and I just want to put this out there for anybody else who's coming along with their own kind of outlet, right? We've got Carpool Gaming. Kevin will be there with, I think, TPR maybe from Save the Game Media, and Dave with the Snack Network, and Babbitt from the Trophy Room, and all these different things. I think maybe individually, like on those, for each of those teams, maybe they'll have their own streams going, but I don't think like me and Ryan and I don't know if anybody else from Carpool Gaming is coming, but like we don't need to each individually have separate things. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, as far as do you need more information from me or anybody else in terms of like what that setup is? Like we can chat maybe more specifically.
Yeah, whatever. Honestly, however, the participant or the group of participants, because I know everybody's coming around from all corners of the internet, as we like to say, right? They all have their little groups, like you mentioned, Carpool Gaming, Save the Games Media, Trophy Room, all these things, PSVG. They all have their own little, I don't want to say cliques, but just groups that they're a part of. And some of them want to just, sometimes they want to represent that group. Sometimes they just want to be their own, individual who is part of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. Yeah. So whatever anybody, however you feel comfortable, however you feel you want to invest your time on this particular day, I'm all for it. Mm-hmm. I highly recommend you just do what makes you comfortable, because 25 hours is quite a haul of a time. Yeah. But do what makes you comfortable so that it doesn't feel that way, so that you feel the energy of the day, the positive energy of the day. And what we'll do for us personally, for Phoenix Overdrive, is we like to do different events as the day goes on. We have the tournaments that go on. We have the different tournaments that we usually set up, whether it's Rocket League, or we even had a Mario Kart tournament one year. We had some fighting game tournaments going on. We had Mortal Kombat one year, Street Fighter one year. So there's a lot of different things that will happen that you can be a part of. And, we'll make sure that if there's something that is not, that you're not comfortable on, or something, just let us know. We will do our very best to make sure everybody's having a good time. We even offer up our own home as a place for people to just say, okay, if I need like a timeout from the whole thing because of sensory overload, you are more than welcome to. More than welcome to. Our house is a good 5 minutes away from the facility. So we opened our home last year to many of the participants by with dinner the night before. So it's whatever you feel is best. We absolutely support it. Absolutely, 100%.
We can go to Denny's this year if you want to, Lee. Like we can go somewhere else for dinner if you want. Like we can go to I don't know. Is Denny's a thing in this? I don't even know.
Denny's is a thing. We got a Denny's.
Yeah, we can go to Denny's. You know what? That's right. We did go to Denny's actually for breakfast.
You did for breakfast 2019.
That's
2019.
That's where we did all the prizes and everything. So that's hilarious.
See, my failing is I love to host.
Don't let me tell you what to do. Yeah, I'm just saying, don't feel pressured. I'm sure everybody would love to just get together wherever. So,
and selfishly too, the day before this year's Extra Life is my birthday.
Yeah.
So that Friday is my birthday, which next year, not to get ahead of us of 2022, but 2023. Extra Life National Game Day will be on my birthday, and I will be celebrating my 40th birthday next year. So that's why, it's all of this, all the work that we're doing, selfishly, I said to Becky, I want 2022, I want it to be a massive success so that we can jump right off that platform in 2023, the most stupendous Extra Life ever.
Oh my gosh.
So it's just one
The
of
fact
my.
that it can get even bigger is
I know.
wild to me. Lee, is the first step for people to do really, I mean, aside from maybe mentally committing to it, like is the first step signing up on the website at extra-life.org? Is that kind of the deal here?
Pretty much. Just search for the Phoenix Overdrive team. I do believe our URL is extra-life.org/team/PHXOD22. That is our team page. Sign up on there. Here's the thing. If you don't feel like you're able to make it in person, that's fine. We get it. We get it. We absolutely, are you throwing down with her already?
Yeah. Well, are you throwing down? Well, here's the thing. I have to look at my fundraising page because what I don't want, this is just our look at it. Last year, and actually for many years, we've had great prizes. And I don't want people to have to choose to support me, Sean Capri, and not Ryan Turford. We're going to try and figure out a way to turn my fundraising page more into either carpool gaming, or maybe we partner with Trophy Room or PSVG or something like that. So there's options on that front as well, which is kind of why I wanted to talk about the fundraising page. But at least from your side, we've talked a lot about the fun and the experience and everything like that. But at the end of the day, we are gathering in this way to raise money for the kids, for the Children's Miracle Network of hospitals. So I want to make sure that we at least get people started with the fundraising as well.
Absolutely. And that's the key thing is at the end of the day, this is about changing kids' health and their futures. Mm-hmm. And that is what we are trying to accomplish here with all the funds that we're putting together in fundraising. So, as you mentioned, it's all about helping the sick kids and making sure that they get what they need from us. But, it starts with signing up for the team. And if you're unable to come, that's fine too. That's not a problem. Participate with us virtually. We'll have our Discord be available for people to chat in. The Carpool Gaming Discord is going to be there. There's different ways to connect with us. And, as I said, we'll do whatever is necessary to make you feel comfortable in joining this event and being a part of this event.
Yeah, man. Oh, I cannot wait. We'll definitely get into more details in the Extra Life channel in the Carpool Gaming Discord as well. That's probably one of the best ways for us to capture all the different conversations. A lot of people have the same questions, which is great, but that actually means that we can also ask them in the same place, and it's a good kind of repository for a lot of this information. I just wanted to actually comb through that while I say that. And see if there's anything else people have been asking that we want to clarify, or anything else you want to talk about. You guys have been doing all these other different fundraisers and stuff alongside of it.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything else that you wanted to cover, Lee, as far as the event itself goes?
So I think we've pretty much covered everything. This year, I will try to. We do have our website, phoenixoverdrive.com, where we will direct everybody to register with the event. And so, in order to kind of, one of the things that we've had to do over the past few years is, we started off in 2019 with a fee to participate, and so we've kind of built it up so that it helps us pay for the things that we get, like the food, paying for the facility, the venue. Unfortunately, the venue isn't free because it's a beautiful venue. So this year, I believe, we're going to be allowing people to pay online via our website. And I'm not sure yet. I had to refer to the rest of the planning team what the price is going to be for this year, but you'll find it all on there. And there is, we do have other items that will be a part of that fee that, as far as like a welcoming type of bag type of situation, we got to get all those details ironed out. But yeah, overall, I think there's really not anything else that we really can discuss. unless you want to talk about the burying that occurred last year by Kato.
Of me. This is why if I can't beat them, then I make them join me. I think is how the saying goes. I don't want Kato to have her own fundraising page this time. We'll all just be part of one happy family, Carpool Gaming. That's the one thing she wasn't even, I mean, we weren't even Carpool Gaming last year. That's the craziest thing. We were just co-hosts to each other.
3.5 hours that she streamed.
Yeah.
And she put up $6,000 on us like that.
Yeah.
That was rough.
That's good. That's great. That's great.
I mean, we took a stomping from her.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah. And I went in there and I was like, what is this? And it just made it worse. It did. It definitely did. Yeah. It would be great to have her there. I still got to figure out a way that we can maybe get her there, but I'm thinking it's kind of unlikely. Apparently there's no planes or trains or automobiles that go out of Alabama.
Really?
I think it's the excuse. Yeah. I think there's absolutely I
think we should tempt her to come up.
I think it's like a moat. It's almost like an island, but it's like an
island on its own.
It's just the bridge. They pull up the bridge and that's it. There's crocodiles and there's no way out. So I think that's how it goes for Kato. We'll see.
State of Alabama.
Yeah. Well, this is my secret way of seeing if she's listening, which, or somebody else can tag her in the conversation here.
We'll see.
But man, yeah, dude, I'm so excited. I have been hearing from people who have never been before, who are planning on going and very far along in their conversations from all over the place. And so for people who are like maybe even not interested to even just a little bit, like people should think about this. It's something I will never forget for the rest of my life. A moment that happened when you and I first met. I was on your show. You guys invited me on. I'm like, well, that probably isn't a good idea. But I was there and we chatted for a couple hours. And at the end of it, you invited me. If you're ever in the area, if you're ever in upstate New York, like you should do this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no way I will ever be around there. But that's very sweet of you. I thought that was very kind and nice gesture. But you know what? Like I was glad that I wasn't super close-minded to it, even if it wasn't an expected offer. And 2019, 2021, and soon to be 2022, just some of the most memorable things. And once you do it once, it becomes an annual thing. So like for anybody who's like, I don't know about like family and all these other things, like it becomes easier to do it the second time. You just got to get it done the first time. It's just a weekend. Everything, the world is opening up again. I'm coming from Canada. It's not impossible. So it's just, if you want to be there, you can be there,
And the funny thing is we have, the CMN coordinator that we're working with now, our previous one, Andrea, moved on to a different job. So the new one that came on board this past summer, we actually started chatting with her about 2022 and game day and everything. And she says, so it boggles her mind and that all these people are coming from all over the country. And from Canada, and she says,
over the world.
So they're flying in and they just hang out and you guys just play video games and raise money for CMN. Said, yep, that's what we do.
That's the power of video games, man.
And it's so wild to her because different generation, different thought process. But she goes, more power to you guys for what you're trying to do because of how how widespread your reach is really becoming. Yeah. And I said, it's we have spread ourselves far and wide throughout the whole country. But to me, I said to her, we're only getting started.
I love it. Okay.
We're only getting started because I have grander plans and dreams that, will take quite a bit of time to initiate, but I have such grand plans for what I want this to be.
I love it.
It's all brewing in here. I've got it all in like a notes file on my phone, just the different things that I want to accomplish. And, we're very excited to jump off the platform that is 2021 and into 2022.
Yeah. That last year was so important for us just to do. And exactly. I love hearing this. I've been talking to Chelsea about this and maybe it's just from a bit of a dark and maybe sad place in that, Bobby was there in 2019, got sick in 2020 and was unable to be there with us in 2021. And this basically changed a lot of my outlook on so many things in life where it's like, there's no guarantee. I mean, as much as I'm looking forward to the 40th birthday in 2023. Like we will get there when we get there. But I don't take anything for granted these days.
Oh,
and
absolutely not.
This is the one that I've got my eye set on. Like, who knows what tomorrow brings, if there's even a potential for people to join us. It's this year, not next year. We'll deal with next year afterwards, and hopefully we'll make that a grand success. But this is the time, man. You know, you only live once. It's something that when you watch us on Twitch or YouTube or wherever anybody is streaming, you're going to want to have been there. You will have wished that you just like booked the flight. And if you've watched us on Extra Life before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So now is a perfect time to just go look at flights, go look at how accessible this thing is, go look at train rides or I was gonna say bike rides. Go find a buddy like Kevin and Josh. They figure it out. They drive together. Like, it's something that when we are live on the internet and you're not there, it's not a great feeling. No, you have your chance now to avoid that terrible, endless, infinite, horrible regret.
And trust me, you want to meet Sean in person because of how handsome he is.
Yeah, I mean, about that. There's some people who are going to be there who are planning on being there. It's like, okay, yeah, like they're no, now we're going to creep people out. But it's good time.
All I have to say is, you know, last year I had Sean and Badbit in my house, and
things got frisky.
It got wild.
Yeah. They're like, those are your separate beds. We're like, could we put them together?
Yeah, I said, go for it.
Yeah, man.
Get snuggly, get cuddly.
Yeah, YOLO. You know what I'm saying?
YOLO. It's a cool, crisp autumn evening in New York State. You know what to do.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's good stuff, dude. I cannot wait. There's so many games that we're all going to play together. We barely scratch the surface on the tournaments that happen, and who knows what else that we can cobble up together. I feel like the fact that we're all going to be able to be quite a bit closer to one another this year versus being separated last year by rule of law.
Yep.
I think that's going to change things a little bit as well. But yeah, once again,
absolutely,
people are not going to want to miss this thing. All the links are in the show notes. Reach out to me or Lee for information on this. But, you know, it's not like we're doing this in the middle of Times Square or anything. It's not like you've got to book a hotel in New York City for $400 a night or anything. Like, it's doable. We can put a couple bucks away each paycheck from between now and November. We can do this. We can raise the money for the kids, and it's a great time. You'll remember it forever. Extra Life 2022, Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team that we're all proud to be a part of. I'm so glad that we were able to carve out time. I could look at your amazing rainbow lights, drawing power from the rest of the neighborhood and heating
the rest
up
of the
that
county
hot basement. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
do you want to, I know, like I said, links will be in the show notes, but do you want to direct anybody to any links or socials that you want to?
Yeah, absolutely. Just follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just search for Phoenix Overdrive. We also have our own Discord. We have actually our Discord tied into Carpool Gaming's Extra Life channel. So anything we post about Extra Life, it goes on to there as well. Or you could find me on any of my own socials. Just search for Lee Navarro and you'll find a version of my picture somewhere.
Nice.
Just.
I wanted to ask, I'm sorry for maybe interrupting with my inhale. If you would, maybe this might be putting you on the spot and I can edit out if the answer is no. But would you be available to show up on other podcasts? I know a lot of people have their own outlets. Like, is that something that you would want to do? Like, to go make the rounds, make the circuit and talk about this thing with some other podcasts? Yeah, absolutely.
I am down for being on anybody's podcast. I love it. I enjoy it. I wish I could consistently do Nerd Overdrive a little bit better. And once again, it's something that we're trying to find that timing to do so, between Ray, Becky, and myself. So yeah, absolutely. I would love to hop on anybody else's podcast and talk about all things Extra Life, all things that we do. And as time goes on, we may have other things to inform the public about. Yeah, potentially, whatever raffles we may have that are coming up that we're trying to put together. So, yeah, no, absolutely. That's something I'd love to do.
Lee, I think that's the secret. You can actually, not that I want you guys to retire Nerd Overdrive forever, but I feel like this is Nerd Overdrive led to something like this, where now you're tapped into like all the different communities out here. And that's kind of the thing that's happening. So you don't even have to do it yourself. You get to delegate the propaganda to the rest of us. So let's tap into that more. If people have their own podcasts and they're interested or they're already signed up, which I know many of you guys are, get Lee on your podcast, talk about this thing. Let's hype it up. This is the thing, man. So
absolutely.
Lee, thank you so much. All the links, and actually I'll ask you to send me some of the links as well, just so I don't miss anything. Everything's in the show notes. Please check them out. And Lee Navarro, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, my friend.
Thank you, Sean. I'm always glad to be on your shows and any of your shows. It's always a ton of fun to be with you.
The song, I rarely do this. I probably should do this more. The song that led into our conversation was from OC Remix, and it was from Chrono Trigger. Oh my gosh. Protector in Green. It's a EDM dance, whatever, on Frog song. And dude, I'm not like, I can't claim to have finished Chrono Trigger. I probably started that game, maybe played the first 2 or 3 hours 1,500 times. I don't know, man. Just an unreal amount of time. What an amazing song. On the Nintendo Drive last week or the week before, Seth was on from All In Podcast, and he had said the composer of the music from Chrono Trigger is the same as Xenoblade, and he said the Xenoblade is up there with Chrono Trigger, and like that song we just listened to, man. Like I don't know, like put Seth, like hi Seth. Show me a song that goes up against that banger. You know what I'm saying? Like that is good stuff. How about that? Are you guys coming to Extra Life? All the links are in the show notes. We're going to make it even easier than it ever has been as far as signing up, being part of Carpool Gaming. If you can't come, that's totally fine. I don't want to be exclusive or anything like that. Like we'll have a great time. We're going to be primarily playing multiplayer games for the entire weekend, the 24 hours that we're going to be playing. So if you're not able to make it, totally fine. If you want to participate virtually, of course, totally fine. You don't have to stream. Basically, if you're at all interested, but if you think that there's a reason that you are not able to do it, just ask. I don't want anybody to think like that the reason that they can't come isn't real. Like all those things I just listed and more, there's ways for us to figure this out. So if you're interested at all, if you just want to hang out, raise some money, play some video games, PSVG even, that's all we're going to do there. So links are in the show notes, like I said. Now, the clip at the end here, thank you so much again. Josh Stapleton, keeping this thing alive. Bobby Pauls, we'll never forget him. Part of the way that we're doing that is by honoring him with a clip from one of his, goodness gracious, hundreds of thousands of hours of content on YouTube. Thank you to Josh Stapleton for picking this one out from episode 4 of If We Ran Nintendo from May 2016. So excuse some of the bad microphones and the leveling. Bunch of stuff is off. This is before Patreon. We're just trying to make stuff. This is in the early days where Bobby and I are talking about Nintendo buying Konami and all the games that they own, all the franchises. This was a different time. Say some weird stuff here. So please enjoy this clip from 2016. That was 6 years ago. Goodness gracious. I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.
Let's face it. As Nintendo fans, we are often left slightly disappointed and scratching our heads asking why. Where is our Super Mario Galaxy 3? Why isn't Metroid out yet? Bring back the Ice Climber, seriously. And what were you thinking of the Virtual Boy? Well, sit back as Sean Capri and Bobby Pauls do just that. That's right, this is If We Ran Nintendo. Now, cue the music, maestro.
You know, now that we're thinking, I feel like there's a franchise that's mature, that is ripe for the picking. And I feel like that if Nintendo had it, and they let it stay where it was, maybe even bring the person that did the game in to oversee it a little bit, and that's Metal Gear.
Oh, no, no, because it's Konami. Get away from that.
No. I'm saying buy the franchise. Because I think
in the yard sale. I love it. Okay, yes. Now I'm back on. Okay.
I'm saying
yes, be the savior of Metal Gear. Oh my God.
I would go to Konami and I would say
buy it all.
We're gonna buy Castlevania, all that stuff. We want it all. We'll give it. We'll just. What do you want for it? You want $1 billion, here you go. Because with $1 billion, I feel like if they put out a solid Metal Gear game, because that then becomes an exclusive, that if all those Metal Gear fans that are big diehard fans want a new Metal Gear game, you can only play it here. And by the way,
I need to change your pants. I'm done.
By the way, we're friends with Kojima, and we're going to bring him in just to be like the godfather.
Well, we can't do that. Sony's got him. Did you see the way Andrew House looks at Kojima? He's in love with this guy. But we'll keep it in reality. That is realistic. I really like that.
I think Konami's the way to go. I think Konami could
save those franchises. Yeah. They're not going anywhere with Konami.
No, they're
Nintendo
done.
could. Oh my God, that would just be so easy.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's a no-brainer.